Welcome back to Uncertain TV. I'm Gemma Houghton. Today I'm here with Janicke Hansen, who is the president of the PTBA, the Professional Travel Bloggers Association, and we're going to be talking about influencer marketing in the travel industry. Hi Janicke, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So influencer marketing is something that has been on the rise and something that a lot of brands are considering about. Why is it a really good tactic for the travel industry, and what's so good about it?
You'll have professional travel bloggers. If you work with professional travel bloggers, you'll have bloggers telling the story of your brand or your destinations with their own words and their own experience. So you would have a different voice than the regular marketing stuff, even though we consider a lot of the collaborations that we do as marketing and not as PR. So.
Yeah. And obviously anybody can write a comment, a blog, a piece of opinion about a travel destination or a place. What distinguishes influencers from just anybody that writes about your brand or talks about your brand?
Well, you have a lot of platforms that you can do reviews. So everybody who has visited a place can do a review. So we have lots of those things. But with a professional travel blogger, you will have a professional opinion also. So it's like being a food critic. So compared to the platforms that anyone can write a review, you have a professional view on the destination, the hotel, the experience of activities, and
that carries more credibility as well.
Yes, and then you have an audience on a platform that everybody can write. You don't really have a dedicated audience. So a lot of the travel bloggers have a very dedicated audience, both on their blogs and on social media. So and they can also tell the story in different formats. So you can have like a short format with a small video or a picture on Instagram. Then you can have a full rich blog post, which is SEO optimized. And
taking into account all the different channels that users might be on.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to embark on this strategy, what are the things you need to bear in mind when trying to identify potential suitable influencers for your brand and for your project?
I know it's very easy to just look at numbers. So a lot of the brands are just starting with numbers. So how many followers and how many readers. What you should be looking at first is, does this blogger's style and niche and focus match my brand? So is there a good collaboration between our goals and our audience and the blogger's goals and the blogger's audience? The second thing you need to do is to vet that this blogger's numbers are actually real numbers. There are too many influencers out there who are not real influencers, but buying followers and buying comments and likes and like engagement. And
how do you pick that out? Because of course, like you say, when you just see these numbers, it's hard to tell who's genuine, who's not.
There are online tools that you can use. Not all the online tools are working properly because there's different ways of gaining followers. But what you could do is like go into the blogger's feed, and then you can see, you see the quality of the comments that come in. And you can see how many likes you get per picture compared to the number of followers, and so there's a different way of doing that. But the most important thing is to see the style. Does this blogger really represent what you want to tell about your brand?
And then how do you develop the relationship from that point? Once you maybe identify some potential partners, what are kind of the standard steps to take to build that relationship and to agree how the partnership could work?
Well, first of all, you need to, the destination or the brand needs to set a goal for the collaboration. So you need to have something that is measurable, and you need to have a goal. You need to set down some bullet points on what we need to what we want to gain with this collaboration. And the blogger, of course, needs to know the goals of this, so they can work within that. You also need to identify like what kind of, if it's a destination, what kind of activities would be suitable. Is this a campaign that wants to extend the holiday season, then you can have the activities that is typical for, let's say, autumn or spring, and focus on those. But you need to set an itinerary that the blogger are enthusiastic about. So if you set an itinerary what you want to say as a destination compared to setting an itinerary that fits the blogger, you get two different outcomes.
And of course, while you have your kind of goal that you want to achieve, it has to be authentic, and it has to be from the perspective of the influencer themselves, and they have to have some freedom to talk about it in the way they want. So how do you are there any guidelines that need to be put in place? Is there any kind of rules that help make it clear what's expected of each and make sure that it's a fair and equal collaboration?
First of all, you need to have a contract. You know how much content is being produced, and how many social media updates. Are you doing a social media takeover? All these things, and the payment and what the destination are covering of flights and accommodation and meals. So all these things needs to be in place. But if you're building the itinerary around the area of where the blogger and the destination meets, that's the way you get the best content. Because if you have a blogger writing passionate about something they don't care about, it's not really, you can look at, like you can easily see it.
So it's very important. That's why it's important to really, like you say, understand in advance what it is that person's interested in, and pick out those that fit best with your brand. Otherwise.
And working with influencers, like the top goal should be like quality content about your brand. And so that's all the steps that you need to take to get that. So if you have that in mind, like the outcome of this is quality content, and then you can see like what kind of themes or what kind of like platforms do we want to focus on. Is it only Instagram? Is it only blog posts? Is it videos? Is it YouTube channels? So it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. But if you don't do that work, you end up like super disappointed because nothing came out of this.
So it really is all in the planning and preparation in order to get the results.
And also the follow-up afterwards. So what you want to create is a brand ambassador, and you want to have a long-term relationship. You don't want that one-night stand between a blogger and a destination, because that is like, it doesn't go anywhere. But if you really work with a blogger or a videographer, you will create a brand ambassador or an ambassador for your destination. And you can see like 2-3 years from the collaboration started, they will still be sharing content about you.
Even when the initial projects passed in their work.
And then sometimes they get expert in exactly that field. So if you're working with a country, you can visit different areas of it, and the blogger also gains some sort of an expert status, which is good for SEO and good for your destination.
Absolutely. And one challenge in the travel industry is just the level of competition. There is obviously a huge number of brands and a huge number of different destinations and activities trying to vie for the same attention of the same bloggers. So what are some of the tactics you could suggest to how you can stand out amongst the others and help those influencers choose you? Because obviously they probably have a range of brands they can work with.
Yes, but I think also that if you do that investigation up front, that you see that my goals with this campaign or this collaboration really aligns with a blogger's, it's much easier. I don't do fashion posts at all. But when brands are contacting me saying that, oh my God, your Instagram feed is perfect for our fashion brand, which is like, I can say like in a minute, like, no, it doesn't. So that is not a good match for me. But you have others that might be focusing on like travel and fashion, or their food and travel, and so you need to find those kind of bloggers that fit your brand and fits your goal. And then it's an easy sell, if there's mutual beneficial collaboration.
Like you say, if they're passionate about the topic, they're going to be very keen to take it on because they want to experience it.
And the really good collaborations ends up in like more formal and brand ambassadorships, which is also a good way of collaborating with bloggers long term.
And you mentioned, of course, doing this preparation and having contracts in place. Are there any other potential pitfalls or steps that you should take to avoid, the project's not going very well and the strategy not being very effective?
I think it's back to the planning, and so when you're planning the itinerary, I know it's very easy to put everything in the itinerary because they want to show so much, or they want to cover all the restaurants for a food blogger. So it's a lot of the times the itinerary is quite packed, and you don't have the time to kind of explore things on your own if that's like a part of.
Or you're trying to go to 10 restaurants in a day and they're just not going to be able to eat that much food. Yeah.
So like even though if it's a wine tasting, if you have 3 wine tastings in a day, it's just like it's too much.
Yeah.
So the packed itinerary and not being able to breathe in between the stops. And also
quality over quantity. Don't just try and do everything, but pick the key things that will work.
So I see some of the collaborations that we have done with the Nordic TB network that I run in the Nordic countries is having some set itinerary and then some non-set itineraries for all. So we tailor each itinerary for each blogger. Like if we're going in a group of 4, we might be doing things together for 2 days, and then half of day number 3 and half of day number 4, they will do different things. So that you will also get different stories, and especially as the markets in the Nordic are very small, you also need kind of different voices and not 4 people writing about the exact same thing.
Yeah. And just speaking there about, you talked about the Nordic region, obviously for many travel companies, they're targeting a global audience, so they're trying to reach customers in different markets. What are the extra things to put in place, or what are the extra challenges when you're trying to kind of roll out this strategy on a much larger global scale in different languages and countries?
Well, if you work with, if you have one campaign set, and you have, you want content in French and Spanish and English and German, it could be quite a large job to do that. But you can easily kind of create an itinerary and a campaign that will go right to those markets. But you need to do your investigation. You're like, what do you want to communicate to the German market that is not suitable for the French market, or the other way around? So they need to use also their knowledge about customer behavior in the travel world.
And how does influencer marketing fit into the overall digital strategy of a brand? Where does it, what kind of role does it play, and how does it support other channels?
I think it's a very important role now. If you see the amount of time that people are actually spending on social media every day, some of the social media channels are more like personal, like you're using only the chat functions, but you're still there, and things still pops up in your feed, and people love to share also, like, oh, I saw this beautiful mountaintop picture, and you want to share it with your friends. Let's go there next week or something. So I think it's an important role in the human-to-human marketing strategy, which every brand and destination should have. But the human-to-human marketing strategy should be in place in every. It's not as an add-on, but it should be like an equal important part of your marketing strategy.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that today with us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.